it's Erica. Welcome back to Maniacal Reader. Today I'm doing my July book haul. So a few months ago I was talking with my great aunt, and through our conversation she mentioned one of her favorite books, Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell. This is an American classic. It's about the American Civil War down in the American South, and it's about these two lovers who are separated by the war and all the struggles that they go through in their romance. From what I hear, it's an epic love story, and my great aunt certainly loves this book. The next books I wanted to show you are also classics. I saw his book series on Sarah Ann Reed's channel a few months ago, so I decided to pick up the Anne of Green Gables series by L. Montgomery. The first book is Anne of Green Gables. Anne of Avonlea is the second book in the series. The third book is Anne of the Island. The fourth book is Anne of Windy Poplars. The fifth book is Anne's House of Dreams. The sixth book is Anne of Ingleside. The seventh book is Rainbow Valley. And the final book is Rilla of Ingleside. I watched the Anne of Green Gables movies from the 90s on VHS tapes when I was a little girl, but I never read any of the books. So now that I have this complete series, I'll definitely get to it sometime next year. It sounds like it's going to be a cute series, and it's usually a series that children love. The next book I have here is The Edge of Niger by J.A. Redmersky. This is a new adult romance book. It follows this girl named Cameron Bennett, who always had an idea of where her life was going. When she spends a wild night in the hottest club in Raleigh, North Carolina, she decides to leave the life she's ever known and start out on her own. With her purse and her cell phone, she boards a Greyhound bus where she runs into a guy named Andrew Parrish. Andrew is a guy who lives life like there's no tomorrow, and he encourages Cameron to do things that she never thought possible. Soon he becomes the center of her new daring life, and he pulls emotions out of her and teaches her to give in to her deepest and darkest desires. But Andrew is hiding a secret. Will his secret tear them apart or make them inseparable? It also sounds like Andrew might have a dark past, or maybe he's grappling with something in his present that he's just not telling Cameron about. Since I love new adult, I'm sure I'm definitely going to like this one. Next up, I have Inked Armor by Helena Hunting. This is the sequel to Clipped Wings, and since Inked Armor is part of a duology, I just thought I might pick up the second book. I haven't read Clipped Wings yet, but it sounds like a duology that I'm definitely going to like. This book follows two people named Tenley Page and Hayden Stryker. Tenley is attracted to Hayden Stryker because of his tattoos. Since it's new adult, I'm definitely going to like this one, I hope. The next book I have here is Perfect Chemistry by Simone Alcalez. This is a YA romance book, and it's the first book in a trilogy. When Brittany Ellis walks into her senior year, her chemistry class, she has no idea that the perfect life that she's constructed for herself is starting to unravel. She's forced to be lab partners with Alex Fuentes. Alex Fuentes is a gang member from the other side of town. Alex makes a bet with his friends that he can lure Brittany into his life, and he thinks nothing of it. But Alex comes to realize that Brittany is a real person with real problems. The bet that he's created turns into something more. There's no question that these two characters end up in a romance together. I've heard that this is a cute romance, but it also deals with serious topics, which I enjoy. I also enjoy the new covers of this trilogy more than I like the ugly black ones that they used to have. I've heard that this trilogy is a staple in the contemporary genre, so I'm looking forward to getting to it. The next book I have is RX by Tracy Lynn. This is a YA realistic fiction book, and it's a standalone. This book follows a girl named Thyme, who's basically a drug dealer. She's a therapist, a doctor, and a pharmacist to her friends all in one. She's the person that her friends come to listen to their problems. Thyme's world is about to unravel, but she's always been good at one thing, which is drug dealing. This book definitely sounds like it's more serious than a lot of the YA contemporary I've read so far, so that's why I'm looking forward to this one. I'm always looking for contemporary books that have that dark edge to it, and it sounds like this book definitely delivers. Next up, I have The Vincent Boys by Abby Glines. This is a new adult romance book. This book follows a girl named Ashton, who's always tired of being the good girl, and she's tired of living up to her parents' expectations and the town's Prince Charming, Vincent Sawyer. When Vincent goes away for the summer, she finds herself attracted to Sawyer's cousin, Beau. Beau has never been jealous of Vincent, of his loving parents, his big home, and his off-limits girlfriend. But Ashton is Sawyer's girl, and Beau has always loved Sawyer like a brother. When Vincent goes away for the summer, he finds himself slowly becoming more attracted to her. Beau has been in love with Ashton forever. He's finding it really hard to stay away from her. Since I've gotten into more new adult recently, I wanted to read Abby Glines' books, so this is the first book I picked up. It sounds like it should be interesting. Next up, I have Just Like Fate by Suzanne Young and Kat Patrick. This is a YA contemporary book. It follows this girl named Caroline. Caroline's grandmother is sick, maybe dying. Like the rest of her family, she's been at her grand's side since her stroke. But with all the pressure around her, she's wanting to escape. She's wanting to escape her family and the reality of her grand's health. So when her friend invites her out to a wild party one night, she must decide to stay by her grand's side or go to the party. Either way, this one decision splits her fate into two ways, and she's about to live both of them. In one fate, if she stays by her grandmother, her longtime crush, Joel, may notice her. In the other fate, if she goes to the party, a college guy named Chris might be everything she's always wanted. This book definitely sounds interesting. It reminds me of The Pivot Point duology by Casey West, but it definitely sounds like it has more of a contemporary feel. Next up, I have Vicious by Sarah Shepard. This is the final book in the Pretty Little Liars series. I read the Pretty Little Liars series at the end of November and the majority of December last year. I picked up the final book from the library many months ago, but I recently picked up the paperback book so I could add it to my collection. The next book I want to show you is Through to You by Lauren Barnhold. This is another YA contemporary, and it's a standalone. It follows this girl named Harper, who decides one day to put green and blue tinsel in her hair. This carefree gesture that she didn't think about catches Pat Mattingly's attention. Pat Mattingly is one of the hottest guys in school, and as they get to know each other, they hang out, talk, and make out. Harper and Pat have very different ideas of a relationship. They can talk about these differences if Pat knew how to talk about feelings. These characters continue to be attracted to each other, and they just don't know how to get off the ride. It sounds like this book is another cute contemporary book, and I'm looking forward to it. Next up, I have Uninvited by Sophie Jordan. This is the first book in a YA sci-fi dystopian duology. It follows this girl named Davy, who has homicidal tendency syndrome, otherwise known as the kill gene. When she finds out she has this, she's kicked out of her prep school and thrown into another school with special teens that also have homicidal tendency syndrome. Since Davy has this gene, she will kill someone one day. But Davy is different from her other classmates, especially Sean, whose age tattoo is evidence of his violent past. Things aren't as they seem though. Sean may be the only person she could trust. This definitely sounds like a dystopian book that I'd be interested in reading. I've wanted to read this book forever since I'm interested in getting into more science fiction, so hopefully I'll like this one. The next book I have is Revolution 19 by Greg Rosenblum. It follows 17-year-old Nick, who has spent his entire life hiding in the wilderness from robots that have enslaved mankind. When the robots attack, Nick, his younger brother Kevin, and his adopted sister Cass barely make it out alive and come to realize that everything they love is missing. They're determined to find their parents, and because of this, they venture into the city. They're forced to live among the robots for the first time, but they realize that things are not as they seem. They are unlike anything they've ever imagined. Sounds like this book is less dystopian and more post-apocalyptic. This will be my first post-apocalyptic book that I read, so I'm looking forward to it. Next up, I have Beautiful Lies by Jessica Warman. This is a YA mystery book, and it's a standalone. This book is about twin sisters whose connection goes beyond genetic similarities. When one is physically injured, the wound appears on the other's body. So when one of the twins miraculously disappears, the other instantly realizes it. When one sister tries to dig deeper into the disappearance of the other, she realizes that they haven't shared everything with each other, and secrets are going to unravel their special bond, and it may break them apart. This sounds like an interesting mystery. I haven't really read books about twins before, so this book definitely sounds like it could be interesting. The last book I have to show you is The Beginning of After by Jennifer Castle. It follows this girl named Laurel, whose world turns upside down when her parents and brother die in a terrible car accident. The man driving was the father of her bad boy neighbor, whose mother is also killed. Laurel is left to deal with the aftermath of this incident, but she finds herself attracted to David. Their lives will always be linked because of this incident, and David swoops in and out of her life. This book sounds like Laurel and her bad boy neighbor David have a romance together, but it also sounds like this book is about Laurel just picking up the pieces of her life now that something devastating has happened. It sounds like this is going to be a deeply emotional read, and I'm definitely interested in this one. That's the end of my August book haul. I hope it wasn't too long for you and that you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!